Welcome to another video from the fanpub.com. I've got Sean with me again.
Yep, welcome back. Hi, Alan.
This time we're going to actually talk about a sort of new type of league. It's called Banzai or third round reversal. Do you just want to explain?
Yeah, we're actually going to be using this in my live draft coming up on August the 5th this year. The reasons we've chosen this, probably, if we talk about those reasons, that will probably make people understand why we've chosen this format. We will cover it in detail. Being a large league, we're a 16-man live draft. There are some issues that you have to overcome and think about as a commissioner. I'm the commissioner of this league, and now Al is after the first year I needed a co-commissioner because there were so many little things I want to cover off, and sometimes you need somebody you can turn to and ask those questions who will be honest with you, and Al is such a person, as you probably know, the way we banter
well,
with
the thing
each
is,
other.
I guess if you're involved in something,
yeah,
and you need to take a back seat if it involves you, say,
yeah, absolutely. Sometimes those things come out, and it's important. So anyway, what I've highlighted, because we've got another live league of the same size that's been going for, this is its fourth year, this will be my second year this year, and you get a bit of data through that. Now, I've been in fantasy leagues for many years, so I have a lot more data than most people, but obviously, if I share that data, that's of no use, because although I know it's accurate, you know what it's like, people won't necessarily believe what you tell them. So it's better when they see it for themselves. It's much easier to convince them that you're onto something. And one of the problems that these large leagues have showed, which is the reason why Banzai draft or third round reversal have become quite talked about in certain fantasy circles, is because there's obviously an imparity. There's a situation that comes up where, obviously, if you're picking quite near the top, you get an advantage. So, for example, think about how many leagues were won by teams that owned David Johnson last year and Le'Veon Bell, and I think you highlighted these stats quite highly.
Yeah, so the disparity is, if you're picking first, you get the choice of the
crop.
Like this year, there's probably three players that have a perceived bigger value than the rest that follow. So it's looking at a way to even that sort of...
Because if you're picking 16th, although you get the 17th pick, which sounds like consolation, and can be, we know how notoriously difficult the second round is to negotiate for problem players, and the other problem comes that you don't pick again till the end of the third round.
Yeah, so David Johnson, he's like two players really, isn't he? He can score 20 points a week.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's a major advantage to anyone.
Such a big advantage, yeah.
Picking at the front.
So you have to think of ways round making it fair. And why I'm highlighting this is because obviously when people looked at the data that was there for them to see, the 4 years worth of data, it was fairly clear that you really didn't get many people challenging from the back end of the draft.
Yes, we had no fault of their own. Really.
Through no fault of their own. We saw someone win it at pick 12 one year, but not in my league. The winners pretty much always come from the top half. That leaves a little bit of a bitter taste because people have come along to what should be their Christmas day, the live draft day. You want everybody to feel that as a commissioner, you've taken on board anything you notice, you take on board and you do something about it. You obviously have to build up the data. We've built up 4 years worth of data. I think we've got plenty of data to go on, and I think people will see as time goes along, if you didn't do anything, becoming more and more of a problem till when do you actually stop it. So for me, it was really simple. I don't want people dropping out of a league that we're all enjoying because they're not getting any fun, because they don't have much luck drafting. I want them to feel that you can win from anywhere. So one of the ways to try and do this is the Banzai draft or third round reversal. Now I'm going to try and explain this as simply as possible. I'm sure Alan will jump in with some bits as well. So really what this is rounds 1 and 2 of the draft, nothing changes. Nothing at all. It is as it is. So if you pick first in round 1, you pick last in round 2. The difference comes in round 3 and round 4 and so on. In round 3, it's a reverse. It's exactly the same as round 2. So it still means the team that was picking first in round 2, which is the last team. So if you imagine we had a 16-man league and I picked 16. I pick last in round 1, but I pick first in round 2. But I also now pick first in round 3. And this is massive because I've got the pick of the crop 3-player chances in the top 48, which is hugely different than the way it sat before, where I really wasn't getting 3 players to just inside 63 picks. It's a massive difference. Whereas the pick 1 was getting 3 players inside the top 45, and that's just too big an advantage. And
having the choice of all the studs as
and
well.
having the choice of all the studs.
And it's just too big an advantage, really.
Now, of course, the draft then continues on as normal in round 4. So, the team that picked last, i.e. pick Team 1 get the first pick in round 4. So all the fairness...
snakes is normal after round 3.
Yeah, and so the idea of the Banzai is to create a parity, particularly in these large leagues where it might be very, very important. So that's in essence what it looks like. So if you're sitting there with a piece of paper, just write this down. And you can use it for any size. So we'll use the 1 to 16 formula. Picks 1 to 16, round 1 are normal. Round 2, 16 down to pick 1. So it's still the same snake draft, but in round 3 it's the exact same as round 2.
16 down to 1.
And we'll try and show that in a graphic, if that's possible at this point in the video, which I'm sure Al will add if possible, or at the beginning of the video maybe as a picture leading in. So you'll have that to look at. Then if people have further questions about this, you're always welcome to leave us comments, because we will pick up on them. There are different methods that people use. We've discussed a few of these offline about how they've used the Banzai draft. Sometimes people actually continue to keep picking, this round 3 formula for a few more rounds. Rounds 4, 5, exactly the same.
But most of them just do the third round.
But it's the third round is the key. And for me, that's the best way of examining the data, is to do it this year and see what changes it makes. It would be easy to monitor. What we noticed last year for this large league, which was really not nice, it doesn't leave a good taste in your mouth as a commissioner, was I want to see the last couple of places in the playoffs having 4 or 5 teams fighting and duking it out. What you don't want is really there's one spot and 2 or 3 teams, and it's pretty obvious, unless something freakish happens, who's actually going to get in. That is no good for anybody, as much as those that are involved.
I mean, this is for league commissioners as much as new players take it up. It's a way of adding, parity to the league, fairness, leveling the playing field, so people don't get the studs at the start and 3 picks in the top.
And that's why we're recommending. It's one of those things you can look at. That's what Banzai drafts are. That's what third round reversal is. Certainly worth considering if you're in a live league or any league format where you think there have been some issues, particularly the larger leagues. I think you'll find this particularly useful for the larger leagues.
Okay, and that was the Banzai draft third round reversal. If you like the video, please give a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thank you very much.